Welcome to another episode of Inside STS. We have Morgan Chaffin with us here today. Normally we talk about, Morgan, your triumphs and the high points and all that good stuff. But this past weekend you had grounded Nebraska, and it wasn't quite that way this weekend. So, what was your experience? Highs, lows. What are you feeling?
Yeah, so I guess for the highs, I went into it really well prepared. I felt great. The part of the course I did, my nutrition was on. My race open was great. I think I was 200 or over, pretty much over my thresholds for the first hour and a half.
Nice.
And able to recover from that. I was with the lead men until about, I think, mile 32, and then I had to pull off at an aid station, and then I kept going or whatever I kind of dropped back a little bit. I didn't want to obviously be wasting all of my energy at that point. So I went a little bit more steady, and then, was just getting in about 90 grams of carbs an hour, a lot of water. It got up to about 98 degrees. So it was a little bit of jump, in the temperature, which was, I feel like I was handling it well. But yeah, I guess you want me to go into kind of the details? Or?
Yeah. So, we saw your email, Andy and I saw your email, definitely about kind of the unfortunate event that really occurred. So do you want to just kind of go into that a little bit as far as what happened and your thoughts about it?
Yeah, so I think they have a good idea and, a good course. I just think a little bit more planning on their part, and just maybe some volunteers and signs would, kind of help the course. So for the aid station, it's at mile 54, and at mile 95, or actually I think it's 106, sorry. So basically the course overlaps.
Right.
You go into this school twice or once, depending on if you're going to go to
which
the aid station the second time.
Yeah.
And so when I made a right turn, heading towards the aid station, for some reason my GPS didn't tell me to take a left to go through the parking lot of the school. It sent me 25 more yards to the road, had me go up the road and then enter the school at the top of this hill. But at that point, when you get on that part of the course, if you bypass that first turn into the school, the Wahoo automatically thought I was at mile 107. So they thought I was at the second. So it registered me at the second checkpoint.
Gotcha.
And the lead males that I were with, I saw them as I was coming to the aid station. They were just getting ready, getting their packs back on, water bottles, and leaving.
Yeah.
And so when I left there, I could see a bunch of 60, 70, or the 70-mile course riders.
Yeah.
And they're turning right. And for some reason, I was just following and I really wasn't paying attention, because they were all, the course kind of overlapped a lot. So you saw 25 milers, 70 milers.
Yeah.
And so you didn't really know. So I was just following my GPS.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of data running on the GPS along with the map.
Yeah.
So I have time, so I can watch for calories. I have distance to the next queue, my power, heart rate, just stuff I'm monitoring during the race.
Yeah.
So my map isn't my map's pretty big, so it's not you can't see so many turns ahead.
Yeah.
So I was getting close to the finish, and then all of a sudden I could see the finish flag on my computer screen, and I'm like, what the heck? I just my heart just kind of sank. I just kind of panicked. And I thought, well, okay, so maybe they route us back through the finish area, and then we go back out on another part of the course. And then I scrolled through where it talked about the queues, on the screen, and it was like, oh, you're like 0.7 miles to the finish. And I'm like, okay, this is not right. So I called Pat, and he's like, yeah, I didn't see you like 10 miles later. 'Cause he was kind of tracking, where I was on the course. And yeah, he's like, I think your GPS routed you like towards the finish instead of routing you, onto the bigger loop to do. So yeah, that's kind of,
that's such a bummer. It took you on the shorter course as opposed to the course you really were supposed to be on.
Yeah.
That sucks.
So I was like, I think Pat was taking pictures, and so he has like time stamped of stuff. And I think at that point, at like mile 55 or whatever, I was like 17 minutes in the lead. So I'm pretty bummed, because I think I was having a good day, and if I would have stayed steady and been consistent on my nutrition, I think I could have got the win. So I guess that was a huge bummer, just because last year I actually was doing this race, and it was around the time when I was just kind of getting Crohn's and things figured out, and I like was really sick, like tried to start the race and was like throwing up and everything, so I couldn't finish it. And so this year I was like, okay, I've got everything lined up, like I had all my nutrition so planned out, and then it was like, crap.
Oh man, that's such a big bummer, especially because that, like, for you is really significant, like with related to your Crohn's and learning how to deal with that. And that, I mean, that's really, really unfortunate. Most of the time, and like Andy and I were talking about before the video, most of the time we've got these serious highs, these serious like fantastic things to talk to and with you about, but unfortunately, it's just not always. And that's the reality of being a racer, Sometimes it just doesn't go the way that you want it to, unfortunately. But hate those technological disadvantages occasionally. Technology's great, but occasionally it'll literally throw you for a loop. So following up after hearing about this unfortunate series of events, like with your race this past weekend, how are you, how do you move past something like this, mentally, physically, and prepare for the next race?
Yeah. And I had a good conversation with my coach yesterday, and I think that helped, like, to kind of put it behind me. I didn't take the day off. Like, I got through 70 miles or so of the race, and I didn't take the next day off. I went out and did 90 miles, and it was about 20 to 30 mile per hour winds, and I was like, I need to be, like, I think if I would have taken the day off and just sat and pondered about it, it would have just mentally crushed me and just made me emotional. So yeah, I went out and I had a good ride, and I was like, you know what? Like, I put in 70 miles, a good effort, and I got 90 in today. Like, just use it as fuel for the fire. And I just have to put it behind me and like look forward to the rest of the season. Like, I still have a number of races left that can go really well, and I think this was like another just learning experience for me too, is when I get a course, or like maybe I need to go into the course and like follow it through, right, with GPS, like follow the dot through and make sure there's no overlapping. Because if there is, maybe I need to look at that and be like, okay, at mile 20, it's going to overlap. You're going to go left. And then when it overlaps next time, you're going to go right. Or, that way, so I know. If they don't have signs, like I think any course that does that, though, like, needs to have signs, because racers aren't thinking about, if their GPS is telling them to go a certain way, we're thinking about like how much we're going to eat, or what our pace is, or if our heart rate's too high, and what kind of effort. We're not really thinking about, are we even on the course? When we're on the course. So.
It definitely takes you away from your focus. On your physicality, how you are, not only mentally, but, your preparedness in the race, and making sure you get your carbs in per hour and your fluids in, per mile, and all this good stuff. But it's really, really good to hear that you just literally hopped right back in the saddle. and went back and kind of crushed it again the next day. So I mean, that's amazing. And I think I can't wait to see how the rest of the season shakes out, and to watch you kind of climb back up those stairs from this unfortunate series of events. But we're very, very excited to see. When is your what's your next race, Morgan?
So it'll be there, Dust Bowl.
Dust Bowl. Awesome. So that's coming up here. Oh gosh, it's not that far away.
Yeah, July 22nd.
Nice. So that's really rolling around.
Yeah.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, again, Morgan, so happy that you hopped right back on the saddle after kind of having a little bit of a disappointing weekend. But just like you said, it's a learning experience, and you're only going to get better from it. So
yeah.
Awesome. Well, Morgan, thank you so much, for taking time here with us for the Inside STS, and very excited to hear, about your next race with Dust Bowl and the progression from now to then.
Awesome. Sounds great. Thank you.
Not a problem, Morgan. We'll talk to you later.